Well, hello and welcome to the Waking Up Spiritually podcast. We're so thrilled to have you join us today. And I'm Wendy Rose Williams. I am a past life energy healer. I help people release pain, anxiety, depression, and other stuck energy that keeps you from really enjoying your life, from feeling happy and healthy, and that your life has a wonderful purpose. And I can be reached via my website at wendyrosewilliams.com. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to my wonderful co-host, Gregg Kirk. But first, I'd like to mention why Gregg and I have been teaming up and podcasting together for 5+ years now. Waking up spiritually can be amazing and wonderful. Such a fantastic experience. It can also bring you to your knees. It can be confusing. It can be lonely. It can be discombobulating. So we just want to offer support and offer some great hand up from the experiences that we've had, as well as the experiences that our guests have had. So with that, I'll turn it over to Gregg, who's going to introduce himself as well as today's guest.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, just as a refresher, Wendy and I first started this as a Facebook group, and it was a private group. We started it more or less as a support group for people who were having, all kinds of experiences that they couldn't explain, couldn't talk about it with other people, even relatives, and
Especially relatives.
yeah, especially relatives. And yeah, so initially we kept it small, and then even some of the first broadcasts we debated on whether we'd share it with the public. But now we have, and we have a YouTube channel, and the podcast is presented everywhere, all over the podcast channels and ways to get your podcast, the podcast apps. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, my name is Gregg Kirk, by the way, and I am a Lyme disease advocate and energy healer. I also am a health advocate. I run the Lyme Recovery Clinic website, but I also have my own website at greggkirk.com. So that's spelled GREGGKIRK.com. I run an online group healing circle, which is a guided meditation every Sunday afternoon. Also do remote and in-person energy healing sessions. So reach out to me if you're interested, if any of that interests you. But in the meantime, Wendy, I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint deck for our wonderful guest today.
Fantastic. And this is a visual podcast. Certainly you're welcome to just listen because you might be doing something else or driving, etc. But we do archive these in a website for you, and there are PowerPoints for each of them. So that website is wakingupspiritually.com. And you can also use the search button there to just look for help with whatever you need in the area of your spiritual awakening, whether it's past life information, whether it's clearing your energy or whatever it might be. So let's introduce you to today's speaker, and then we will bring him on.
Okay. Yes. So Michael Sheridan is our guest today. For 35 years, Michael has brought a unique and refreshing perspective to dream interpretation. Leveraging his scientific and engineering background, he cracks the dream code to explain the deep and profound meanings written in the layers of your dreams. Michael contends that dreams are a dialogue between your higher self and your soul. If you want to know more, if you want to know who you are and why you're here, examine your dreams through Michael's Isling method. Michael has also published 2 books on the topic: How to Interpret Your Dreams, published in 2014, and My Journey to Awakening, which was published in 2016. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a podcast. He's been on the radio and TV shows in Ireland. And his website is healingthroughdreams.com, where he's also got a blog. So without further ado, oh boy, there we go. There we go. All right. Sorry for the technical hiccup there. And here's our guest, Michael Sheridan. Michael.
So
Hello.
Michael, welcome. It's so great to have you here. You're not only Ireland's favorite dream expert, but favorite dream interpreter for many of us here in the US. So just appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. So can you tell us, Michael, what led you to this wonderful conclusion that things like our spiritual gifts can be shown in our dreams and it's our higher self and our guide speaking to us? Just tell us about that. Give us more information so people can
So
understand.
my journey, spiritual journey, kind of started suddenly. I suddenly started seeing spirits. I didn't understand why. I was 25 or 26 at the time, and I was an atheist. And of course, I was instantly not an atheist when I could see spirits because, like, okay, there they are. But I
Right.
couldn't talk to them. So I went on this quest. I was like, oh, now that I know that there's a spirit world, this is going to be a good journey. And the world, the spirit world's just going to tell me what my life's about, why I'm here, all that. None of that happened.
Can I stop you right there? I want to know more about what you were actually seeing and how that happened. I know a little bit. I know you had a stressful job in Ireland
Yeah,
in
but it
19.
wasn't that stressful.
Right. Well, no, I know it, but you so in order to mitigate the stress, you took up meditation,
I
and
did.
it took
So
a
I did
while.
a lot of meditation. I
Right.
meditated for about 3.5 hours a day, but that was only because that's how long my commute to and from work was.
Yeah.
I was working in Dublin city centre, terrible traffic, still terrible traffic. So just inches along, and that was the reason. But I had this idea that we don't use up all of our brains, and so I was meditating to get smarter and to get better at interacting with people and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
For my own personal growth, but not a spiritual lean. So seeing spirits was a total surprise. But I discovered why it happened years later. I had two near-death experiences when I was an infant,
Oh,
and that's what that tore the veil for me. I didn't know that. I had no memory of that. But once I started meditating, it was like, okay, yeah, you're looking at the spirit world like you were when you were a kid, and but it was scary to me, really scary. It was the last thing I wanted. But like I said, I went on this journey to try figure out, thinking, oh, they're just going to tell me, they're going to hand it to me on a silver platter now.
right.
But it was, I think it's the same for everybody. You end up on this quest that ends up being arduous in some way. And when I
Hero's
discovered,
journey.
yeah,
Heroes,
well,
yeah.
yeah, but every week I thought I was going to find the answer. Um, but when I found dream interpretation, so I did lots of other courses and read books voraciously. This is before the internet and everything. And there wasn't a lot of books on this type of topic. It's a very big topic now. And I had to find the one bookstore in Dublin that carried spiritual books.
Yeah.
And I'd go visit there all the time and see, did they get anything new? Did they get anything new? And I was just thinking earlier that a lot of people when they get into this field, they think, oh, I got into it late. But the person who influenced me the most only got into it in his 50s. So you never know who you're going to impact or how many people you're going to impact, no matter when you start on this journey. But anyway,
Right.
I digress. I was trying to find out what was going on, why I could see spirits, and why one of them was particularly nasty. Nobody knew. And then eventually I did a dream course. In fact, it was my second dream interpretation course. And the first one I did, I hated it. I was like, okay, there's nothing in dreams. They mean nothing. And then I did the second one with George Radican, and it was like, oh, that opened my eyes. It described me to a T. It explained why I could see spirits. It talked about my two near-death experiences. It was amazing. And it listed all my gifts. And so for them to say to me, hey, you have the ability to see spirits, I didn't tell anyone in that room I can see spirits. That was it. That's something I kept a secret because that's what crazy people can see. So for me, it was like, okay, I hit the fountain of knowledge because my dreams are so specific to me, telling me what my life is. And then I discovered, hey, they're doing that for everybody. And it explained to me why I could have done so many other courses, and so many people are saying this is the way, my way is the way, and they're fully convinced, and they're right for themselves, and they're right for a lot of people. But with dream work, I was able to see that there are many ways, there are many paths, and everybody's path is unique and individual. And when you find what yours is, it's like, okay, now it is easy. It's no longer a struggle. But it explains how we can all have different views and have different modalities, et cetera, et cetera. But they're all essentially a path back to God.
I'm sorry to keep going back to the beginning, but I just want to connect some dots here. So you started seeing, after your meditations, you started
Yeah,
seeing some spirits, and you mentioned one of them was nasty. So tell
yeah.
me exactly how they manifested, what they look like, what the interactions you had
So,
were. Yeah.
So the first spirit I saw, the first ones just looked like humans, and they were the scariest. But I think it was just because I'd never seen any before. And it's a bit like if you saw a dinosaur on your street, you'd know it was a dinosaur, even though you've never like. So it was like, I know I'm looking at spirits, I know they're real, and that is scary as whatever. Um,
Right.
but then every couple of weeks, so I could see spirits all the time, but every couple of weeks, this one spirit would show up, and it looked like the torso of a man without arms. And it just looked like rope lights, like the white Christmas rope lights that you would see, were outlining the frame and like filled it in as well. And it would come towards me slowly. And then when it would get to about 3 feet from me, it would be like I got tasered. Never been tasered, but I'm assuming it feels like this. But it was excruciating. And I would curl up and, it was really, really painful. It would then take about 50 seconds to go past me and then it would all end. And that damn spirit would come back every 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm.
And only for that spirit, I would have just ignored it all. I would have said, hey, I can live with this. The fact that I can see him and nobody knows I can see him is okay.
Right.
But I had to figure out why was that happening. But what it taught me though was there are nasty spirits in the spirit world.
Sure.
It's not all a bed of roses, and you have to understand or find your way, make sure you're talking to the right beings, all that sort of stuff. It's a
Right.
nasty place. And then also, like, to back that up, we have a guardian angel. Why the heck do we need a guardian angel?
Yeah.
Because this is a bad place.
So when you got the legit dream interpretation done,
Yeah.
tell me exactly how that went down. What?
So I submitted a dream anonymously,
Okay.
and I missed the first week of the class because I didn't want to go to this dream course, but my sister did, and so we missed the first week, and we go to the second week, and I have no idea what I missed, and I submit a dream anonymously, and it's picked, and some of the other students and me are in the group with my dream, and this woman just pulls me apart. Like it was fine. She ripped me to pieces. She described all the warts and all, but it was accurate. It was the accuracy that counted, right?
Right.
And she's just casually threw in at the end of it all. Oh, and the dreamer was born by cesarean section. Now, I was born by cesarean section because they thought I was going to die, which is why I had the near-death experiences. But this was back before that was just a vogue thing to do. It was only done as a last resort.
Oh.
And the way she just like with confidence said it, I was like, that, all, on top of all the other things, to just throw that in
Right.
was astounding. And I thought, oh my God, look how good they got in a week. But what I didn't realize is that this was the star student in George's classes. She had learned his techniques 20 years before, and she had just come back for a refresher. So I was lucky. I had George and her battling against each other to find nuggets in dreams. In the first class that I went to of his, that was just absolutely amazing. It floored me. That's really it. That it floored me.
Yeah.
In its accuracy, and it didn't just say, "Here's your issues." It was like, "Here's your issues, and here's what you need to do about them. Here's
Fantastic.
why you have them." Like it was the whole package.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Is there anything you want to relate to, of what came up that you then, kind of remedied or rectified through some work?
Yeah, so I did. So I used to meditate, and the reason I meditated is, like you said, I did have a stressful job, but I enjoyed my job. I managed a large team of software developers, and I anyway, I was doing the meditation. It made me a nice person. Before that, I was a very vindictive person. If you wronged me in some way, I'd get you back, and it didn't matter how long it would be before I'd get you back. I mean, I wasn't that nice of a person. But the meditation changed me, and I was absolutely a wonderful person. You couldn't stress me at all. And the first thing I was told was that I needed to stop meditating, because I was asking, why can I see spirits? What's going on here? And they said, oh, okay, stop the meditating. But at the same time, George told me I needed to do a process called cutting the ties that bind by Phyllis Crystal. Very badly named process.
What's it called?
It's about eliminating the negative influence of
Cutting
a
the
particular
ties that
parent.
bind,
Cut-
Gregg.
Yeah, cutting the ties that bind.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, and so you're just eliminating the negative influence of a parent. You're not actually cutting the ties with a parent,
Yeah.
which is what it sounds like.
Yes.
So I did that process. I stopped meditating. I did that process. And by the end of that process, I ended up on the Dharmic path. So I ended up in this very high elevated state, way higher than my meditation was ever bringing me.
Mm.
And that was my new default state. So like doing what my dream said changed my life so much for the better. I lost all my vindictive tendencies and lots of other negative traits too. A lot of anger just all gone. And it was weird to not have to do anything for it to be gone, you
Yeah.
know. And people who know me from before and know me now, like you would think I was two different people, really.
Yeah.
And Michael,
Just
could you speak to, for any listeners who are not aware of what the difference is between the karmic path and the dharmic path? Could you speak to that?
so most of us are on the karmic path. I'm back on the karmic path. Um, and it's a way of living life and learning about yourself through experience. So even with your eyes closed and not being aware of the spirit world, you're still going to learn about yourself just by things happen and your reaction to those things that happen. A lot of people talk about karma like it's a negative thing. It's what makes the world work. It's an extremely positive thing. You attract into your life the things that you need, the lessons that you're meant to use as a catalyst for your growth. Karma is a wonderful, wonderful system. And it does teach you, like, so parts of what people say is true, but it only puts lessons in front of you or obstacles in your path that you need. You know, that when you overcome these obstacles, you're going to be a better person because you're going to have to face your fear to overcome the obstacle. And then it's facing your fear and growing through it is the thing. The dharmic path is where you're very aware of the spirit world. It's like your consciousness, I think it must be up a chakra or something, because you're very aware of the spirit world. They're talking to you the whole time, and you have no fear about anything. You know, even if you were to lose your job or think about the worst thing, you're like, it's all good. Everything is taken care of. They have it all planned. And wherever I end up is where I need to be. But you end up in a place of service. So you know what you're being asked to do, and you just do it because you know it's the right thing to do it. But it is still collaborative. You're not like an automaton. You can still say no if you wanted to, but because of your understanding, you don't say no. I stayed on that path for about 9 months after that process, and it was absolutely amazing to be there and to think that we can get to that state, and we can get there by working on ourselves. I find it kind of funny. A lot of people talk about the ascension and they're waiting to be lifted up, and it's like, hey, do the work and you can get there yourself.
Exactly. Yes. So what was the next step after you had this breakthrough? What did you do next?
So doors just opened for me. I got calls to be on the TV and the radio, and so I ended up on Ireland's breakfast show for years, interpreting dreams, and then two different radio stations in Dublin. I was on them alternately every week, and then I would. There was a very big exhibition, the Mind, Body, and Spirit exhibition, that was held once at the time. It was held once a year in Ireland. It became twice a year. Like tens of thousands of people went to that. Like it was a really, really big event with hundreds and hundreds of exhibitors. And because I was on the TV and radio, they always gave me speaking spots at those things. So it was like I didn't have to do anything and all the doors opened. And I didn't understand enough to take advantage of the fact that that was happening. Yeah, my classes were filled, but I was still working the conventional job. But I did dream work all the time in the evening. My rule to myself was that I'd never turn down an interview. I do now, but for I don't know, 20 something years, I never turned down an interview. But it's just funny. My extreme interest in dreams has never waned. I wrote a book in 2007 thinking this is about as much as I can possibly know about it, because that's 15 years into my journey or thereabouts. But by writing the book, I had to go deeper, and it was like I was starting off fresh again. I'm absolutely amazed that 35 years in, I love dreams more today than I ever did. Like they just really excite me about the details that you get from dreams.
And was that this book, Michael, the How to
It
Interpret?
was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very technical book. Like it lists gifts, like you asked about gifts, but it lists gifts, it lists health issues, it lists issues that we have with our parents, which is the big thing. You know, a lot of us we come into life and we go, when we get older, we go, it's my childhood has me messed up. But when you understand your dreams and you understand spiritual growth, your childhood is what allows you transfer into the physical world issues you already have in the spirit world. So if I can get those issues into this plane, I can then work on them. And I can meet somebody like one of you who's going to help me overcome whatever obstacle I have. And that's not possible on the spirit plane. At least anything we take here to do here is not easy. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it here.
Right. Well,
And the book really is a very powerful dreams dictionary, is
It
one
is.
way to describe it or think of it. And Michael, do you still offer your dreams dictionary via your website?
I do, but we do it via an app now, and it's much, much bigger. So there's probably 1,500 symbols in the book you held up, and now there's like 4,500 in an app. And I
Wow.
add to it all the time. So if you have the app on your phone or Android, your iPhone or Android, it just gets updated in your pocket. So and it has a dream journal. So if you put your dreams into the device, into the app, it'll look the dictionary up for you, and it'll tell you, hey, these are the symbols, and this is what they mean in your dream.
And that's such a great way for people to start, because you might wake up and you don't remember a lot about what you're dreaming about, but you're like, oh, I know there was a house and there was this really interesting house I was
Yeah.
exploring. And then you can look up specific symbols or what you do remember to get you started. Uh,
And if you're interested in a particular area, then you can look for that because it'll tell you from the symbols, like these are the gifts you have. And if that consistently comes up, like you're told you're a healer or you're a counselor, you can be assured it's accurate, because you will tend to see two or three symbols in the same dream saying the same thing. That's one of the things I love about the Ashling method of dream interpretation is it proves itself to you because you're going to have multiple things telling you the same thing.
that,
And you wouldn't know it, you know.
and Michael, what is your website for people to be able to
It's
for that in?
dream-analysis.com is the easiest website to find me on.
and
Got
and
it.
what's the name of the app that people can look for in their app?
It's called Ashling Dreams, and Ashling is spelled AISLING. So if you look up Ashling Dreams on your iPhone or Android, you'll get the app.
And
It's the
does
Irish
Ash,
for dream or vision. Ashling is
thank
the Irish
you.
for dream or vision. It's a person's name as well.
No.
And of course, I was in Ireland, never thinking I'm going to be living in America for the rest of my life. Um, so it's nobody knows how to pronounce it or
I mi-
spell it.
I
So
mispronounced it during the introduction. So
everybody
Aisling.
does.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. We're all here to learn
It's a
together.
different language.
Yeah.
So for instance, someone who keeps dreaming about actors and actresses and what would that be an example of, for instance?
In terms of gifts, it's about channeling because actors and actresses are given their lines. They're told what to say, and that's what a channel does. Like you get into the channel state, the spirit world tells you the message for your client, and hopefully you don't modify that message. You honor it and pass it on as they say it.
Right, right. Just being that clear filter.
Absolutely. And it's one of those gifts. A lot of people have it, but not everybody is necessarily going to work as a channel. They might use it alongside some other gift that they have. I see that a lot. Like, so I do dream work, but I channel to interpret the dreams. I don't ever offer channeled readings to anybody. I do teach people to channel as well, but I couldn't do dreams if I couldn't channel. So that's how it is for a lot of people. A lot of healers channel, a lot of counselors channel. A lot of people quietly channel without telling anybody that they're doing it. I did that for a long time. I would just interpret dreams. Somebody would tell me a dream, and I would say, "Okay, tell me it again." And then I would be channeling, not even listening to the person, to figure out what it meant and go, "Okay, here's what it is."
Right.
Because I was embarrassed to say to people that I channeled. That's because of my own religious upbringing. That was one of the obstacles I had to overcome. But
Your religious upbringing, and you've got a very scientific background too.
yeah,
So I'm sure that just, brought up a lot of, like, the left brain was really trying to interfere with that.
well, that's why I did the meditation. And I specifically picked a form that was all about giving you tools to use in your mind to help you like work out equations, do all that sort of stuff. Einstein said we use 5 or 10% of our brain. I'm like, okay, how can I get it up to 20 or something? And that was my goal with meditation, and not what happened. Of course, now I'm delighted with what happened, but for a long time I wasn't. It was it was a scary thing. But I'm a software engineer by trade, and I love logic. The science subjects were my favorite subjects in college and in school. Physics, chemistry, and communications theory, all that type of stuff, and mathematics. So it is It is funny that I've ended up in this. And in fact, that was one of the big things. My dreams all said, look, you're going to die of stroke or heart related illness. And this is true for all of us. Our dreams tell us what way we're going to go,
Wow.
because they know what we're doing, they know the way we are.
Oh,
And so by working on myself, working on issues around mom, working on things that allowed me lean into my own feminine energy, all of those dreams stopped. So I never have dreams anymore that tell me that that's going to happen. So it's kind of funny how everything is connected. Lack of using our gifts contributes to health issues.
yes,
So does many other things, diet, all
absolutely.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But everything's connected. And if you see in a dream a gift and some medical issue and something else, if they're all in the one dream, working on any of those issues helps the others. So it's not always a difficult thing to do
Can I ask
to
you
help
some
yourself.
just there's kind of three standard recurring dreams that people have.
Right.
Teeth falling out is one.
Yes.
What what's
So
that usually?
animals carry their young around with their teeth, and they also defend their young with tooth and claw. So teeth and nails represent raising your children. Now it can be like if you have met somebody and you're getting on great, and then she confides in you that she started having dreams with teeth falling out. It means that she, in her mind, has moved the relationship to the level where she's considering having children with you. So it's a good sign, even though
Okay.
it's a horrible dream. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but then,
And
it can be the same thing. You can have that dream when you're approaching menopause. You can have that dream if you have kids and you're hitting stressful periods in your life.
Oh,
Because another thing teeth can represent is taking a bite at life. But 90% of the time, it's always about raising kids.
and
okay.
biologically, when you're pregnant, that baby so needs calcium,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that they will pull, if the mother is not well nourished and getting what she needs, they will pull the calcium from the teeth
All right.
or the
Right.
bones or wherever. So it's
Yeah.
it's quite literal in many ways.
So the
Yeah.
other dream that a lot of people have is them flying. I've had those all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that means you have the ability to project your mind.
Oh,
Uh, you uh, you go to the astral plane. You can go to the astral plane and remember those dreams. So you probably have dreams with dialogue, whereas a lot of people wouldn't have dreams with dialogue. But if you look at the dialogue in those dreams, it's unlikely that the people's mouths will be moving because it's a telepathic communication.
right.
But it's mentally rising above your problems. And it's because of that, those dreams always feel good. You wake up from a flying dream just on top of the world,
Yes.
regardless of how you went to bed, like
Yes.
stressed to the
Exactly.
nines.
Yeah.
But it means a couple of things. Because you can project your mind, you have the ability to hypnotize others. That's your strong suit, Wendy. You have the ability to hypnotize, you have the ability to do absent healing. And you can also then, like I said, project. So it would be good, for instance, if you're leading a group or you're in sales, things like that. You probably have had a teacher at some point in your life where they're just a fantastic teacher. Like you understand whatever they put up on the blackboard, and they have that gift. And if you can see spirits, you just see these sparks flying off their head. It's really interesting if you can see the aura. But all those gifts work together. Like if you have one, you have them all.
Right. And then one final one. This is the one I have all the time. I this is more of a troubling or a nervous dream where I'm suddenly in a classroom and
Right.
I've been away, and then all of a sudden the teacher says, "Okay, now we're going to have the test," and I forgot about it, and
Yeah, yeah.
So what's that one?
Ex-
I know a lot of
ex-
people have had that dream too.
Yeah, it's extremely common and it's different every time you have it. So, like,
Yeah.
if you have it, this year and then you have it 3 years later, it's about a different thing.
Okay.
But dreams come from the highest spiritual authority that exists. And when you have a dream about an exam, it's essentially the spirit world is saying, we deem you are ready to move on to the next thing in your life. So, if whatever you're thinking about or whatever project is on the cards for you when you're having that dream, it's very likely something you're being asked to do by the spirit world. Like, think about any exam you've ever done. You're not allowed to sit that test until you've done all the required material, the lessons, et cetera, all the trainings.
Right.
So the spirit world is saying, we know you're ready, but your fear in the dream is your response saying, no, I'm not.
Oh,
But it doesn't mean you're
interesting.
not.
Interesting.
Nobody ever heads into anything going, yes, I'm ready. We never feel ready. There isn't a state where we go, okay, I can do this.
Right.
Anything you've ever done in your life, you've just bit the bullet and stepped, taken a leap of faith, knowing it's going to
Right.
work out. So, But it's a very good dream then. So you're whatever's going on, like, and it could be, for instance, you meet somebody and you're thinking of this is the one. Should I go on a date? Should I whatever? It's a super, super positive dream always. Yeah.
Okay, because it feels uncomfortable.
Oh, it does.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah. Because
I'm unprepared. Oh no.
yeah, and so it's going to be interesting. Whatever the subject is in the dream is going to be revealing. So if it's history that you didn't study, you thought it was something else. So it's going to be looking at something in your past that you need to resolve that's going to help you in this endeavor. If it's mathematics, it's about opening your mind. But it really doesn't matter. It's still always going to be positive. Whatever's going on, do it.
Right. Yeah, no, I that's funny because I've never the weird thing is I don't know what the subject of the class was in the dream.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that the fact that, oh no, I'm unprepared for this test. And then I had one variation on that where I was starting the test and I went to the bathroom and I came back and everybody was done. So I
Yeah,
wasn't able to complete the test. It was
yeah.
very frustrating.
That's usually the way it is. It
Right.
usually, they don't usually end well, but it doesn't
Right.
matter. It's still trying to get you to do that. But going to the bathroom in a dream is a positive thing because it's about eliminating the stress around the fact that, or whatever else preceded you in the dream. So here I am having to do this test. Yikes. Then you go to the bathroom. It's like, let's drop all the fears, psychologically drop everything about that.
Oh,
So it's a good symbol too.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wendy, do you have any
Yes, I have another question, Michael. So you touched on through cutting the ties that bind and just the importance of having brought out your feminine side, because we've all got a masculine side and a feminine side, and we're really not healthy and whole until those two sides are working together and we're more, fluid and moving
And
back.
yeah, for most of us, they don't work together. Yeah.
Well, it was so interesting when my youngest daughter, who's now 27, when she was in high school, she came home and she said, "Mom, I've got this class assignment. Can I ask you a series of questions? Because I'm supposed to determine if the person is primarily left-brained or right-brained or something else." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll be your guinea pig. I'm making dinner or whatever."
Yeah.
She asked me those questions and I said, "Okay, what did you think?" And I was expecting her to say left-brained. And she said, "You're very center-brained, you're very, very fluid." And I said, "Center-brained? That's a thing?" I thought, because the old system was you're either primarily left-brained or right-brained. And she's like, "No, you're center-brained. You go back and forth a lot between the two." And that's exactly what I expected. So I was like, "Well, thank you for teaching me something new."
Yeah. Well, you do want to do that. So the masculine side is all about confidence, belief in yourself, feeling worthy of the space you occupy, your outer world. There's lots and lots of traits that go with that. We're very aware of the negative traits. And that's what's out of balance. But we have masculine energy and separately we have feminine energy, and you have to balance each one individually. It's not a seesaw. You're not trying to get masculine energy and feminine energy level on the seesaw. You have strong traits in each one. And feminine energy is all about nurturing and caring and love and being able to love yourself, even being able to accept love, like tolerance and
Practicing.
acceptance of other people. And if that's out of balance, you're going to find yourself very judgmental and critical of other people. If the masculine side's out of balance, you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have fears. But what's kind of funny is some of the negative traits can look the same. You have a masculine imbalance or a feminine imbalance, and they look like the same thing on the outside. But when they're in balance, though, what's really good is like the masculine side sets a platform. Like if you want to do this show, you need masculine energy to set this up, to believe in yourself, to
Like a
do the whole
structure.
thing. Yeah, and to own the space, like to tell a guest to get lost or whatever. Like that's all masculine energy, or like argue your point, masculine energy. Now, of course, in balance, right? So your masculine energy sets up the platform. So even if you're going to use a feminine energy gift like counseling or spiritual leadership or whatever happens to be, you want the masculine energy there and present in order to create the space for you to use the feminine energy gift. So they complement each other in very good ways. And so what you will often see in the spiritual field in particular is somebody has worked on a feminine energy gift, but lacks lots of confidence or lacks lots of other things, but they're probably the best in the world at what they do. Just nobody will ever find them because They have this like, I'm really good at this, but I want to hide. I want everybody to know about what I do, but I don't want to be seen. And that's the dichotomy we have a lot of the time. It's like you have to kill the negative trait that blocks your ability to use the positive trait.
Hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because
Michael,
when
oh,
you described, Michael, just all those doors opened for you so unexpectedly after you took that first dream course, and all of a sudden you're being asked to be on television. And I mean,
Yeah.
these are very rare opportunities.
Oh
That was
yeah.
feminine energy that, that was just attracting and
Oh,
bringing
but
that in.
I was scared.
And
Like
you're
the
going,
first time,
what
if
do
they
I do
asked me
with
to
this?
spell my name when I was on TV, the first time I wouldn't have been able to. It was really, really scary. And I was really lucky though, because the others in the studio who were diehards at it, they knew and they really were really helpful, like to try hide my own fears.
yeah,
But that's part of like, you're never ready for something, but by doing it, you become ready. Like you grow into the
Yes.
space.
yeah.
But yeah, it is amazing that that happened. And um, I still look at it and marvel at it, that it's still been that way all the time for me going through this field.
Wow. Why do you
Wonderful.
think it happened that way? What is it? You were able to raise your vibration, or something else? What?
So I think it's to do with, what did we come here to do, and who are you on the other side? And if it's in alignment, then the karmic system is going to make everything happen for you. These doors open at the right time in your life because they're meant to open. And it's not so much that you've done the work in this lifetime for that to happen. It's probably the culmination of lots of work over multiple lifetimes that has you now ready to do something in this one lifetime.
Right.
Especially if it's just, you know, even my earliest dreams in the class with George showed that I brought a dream interpretation skill with me. And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about it.
Right.
But yet, when I learned all the lessons and material, it's like, this just all makes sense to me. Like, surely it's this easy for everybody. And so, we're all a bit like that. If you get on the right path, the doors will open for you. And if you're on the wrong path, the spirit world's going to keep them closed. And we can fight against them and force them open, but it's not going to be an easy life.
Right. Right. And then, like you mentioned earlier, if you really stray from your path, things like disease and
Oh,
illness
yeah.
come into your life to, get your
Well,
attention.
the idea is that your vibration is higher by the time you leave this world than when you started.
Yeah.
So you've overcome some fears, you've dropped some doubts, you've like worked on yourself, learned to allow people to love you, or whatever it happens to be. But if you go off your path and you start interfering with other people's free will, and you're lowering your vibration, you're going to be thankful that they take you off the planet early when you realize why they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, Michael, what are some of the I mentioned some dreams that a lot of people have. What are the ones that you tend to see these days that a lot of people are having?
That was going to be my exact question. What's happening now, Michael, that you're seeing and hearing, either your dreams, your wonderful wife, Sandy's, and just clients?
So
There are things coming up around getting ready and prepared for what might be coming in the next year or two.
So you would think you would see a lot of that in dreams, but I don't. I hear a lot of people talking about it.
A lot of
What I do see
precognitive.
in dreams is a stronger push for people to achieve their life purpose. Like, why is it you came here? And I think that's a tired expression. People are tired of hearing, oh, life purpose and mission and gifts. But that's really been a resurgence in dreams. And what they're showing in dreams now is like, here's what you're meant to do here, and here's why. Here's what happened in the spirit world that caused you to have this issue, and this is what we're trying to fix. And what I found really remarkable was, when you understand what they're trying to do, and get it, like, this is my life purpose, you can actually achieve more than your life purpose by asking them to do something for you on the other side. So asking them to help you heal the issue that existed there. That was kind of new to me. But they're saying, look, you are the command center here. Your consciousness is here. So as long as you give permission with understanding and say, hey, help me deal with this issue that I have on the other side, then they can do it for you. But if you don't wake up enough to ask that question, they won't do it.
Right.
Which sounds kind of funny. I still think it sounds kind of funny, But that's the beauty of doing a lot of different spiritual work. You know, yes, I'm a big fan of dream work, but I think you can do this through channeling, through many other avenues as well. Figure out why you're really here. And then is there something you can do or ask your team to do for you that is just going to be like, in terms of, will I have to come back or can I achieve way more than I set out to achieve? The answer is frequently, yes, you can.
Wow. Well,
Exactly.
so what's the main thing that you're doing now, Michael? What's your main focus at this point?
So I like looking at this deeper layer of dreams, like I was just saying about looking past the dream. My focus lately in the last, say, year and a half has been where do, who gives us the dream? So I've always said we get them from our higher self. It's not quite true. There's a dream guide, I call him, and he's the one that delivers most people's dreams. Some people get their dreams from their higher self, or some of their dreams from their higher self. But it's like we submit ourselves to a system that is all intended for us to heal ourselves.
Mhm.
And so, say I've been abused on the spirit side. Say I've been used as an infiltrator or something really horrific, and I have to overcome those that control that was exerted over me. Then my dreams on this side are going to help me dissipate and transmute some of that energy bit by bit. They're going to give it to me, and I'm going to be complaining because I'm going to say, like, why is my mom so controlling? Why is everything else around me so controlling? I'm going to hate this world. Really not going to like it. But that's only because we don't understand how much it's helping us. If we fully understood how much life is helping us, we would come back here in a heartbeat. And I often ask people that question, in fact, like, would you ever come back? And if you say no, it just means you're out of alignment with your higher self. And you need to work on yourself, because when you get to the point where you'd say, I would come back, then that means you understand why your higher self has you here in the first place, because it's going to do it again. So,
Because it's a
Right.
privilege. It's absolutely a privilege.
but I accept for a lot of people it doesn't feel like it. But it's like going to the doctor. Like, they're senting your leg. Yeah, I don't want to be in hospital, but for now it's the best place for me to be, you know.
Fair
But
enough. Yes.
I like looking at what's past the dream. Why am I getting this dream? And what's its source? What is it trying to address? But that's my particular interest, you know. Not everybody's into that. Not everybody wants to know who they are on the other side. But I find it very, very intriguing. And I like understanding how the whole system of light workers helps. Like, why do people come here as light workers? Like, why are the people here that don't need to be here? And how are they helping other people while they're here? And can they go astray? Yes, they can. I find a lot of that, all of that kind of stuff intriguing. And I learn about it from working with people's dreams. Like, one of the things that forever I was like, I want to know what it's like in the planning stage. So before we come here, we go through this planning stage where we're plugged in to the planners that use this place, and they're going to show us why we're going to live this life, why it's going to be the way it is, and exactly everything we're going to get out of it. And I knew about it, but I only knew about it intellectually. And then I was doing a private session for somebody. I looked at who she was, and she's a planner on the other side. I was like, oh my God, this is like only 18 or something, or 28 of you people. And so by looking at her dreams and getting a glimpse into who she is on the other side, they then opened the doors, and other planners came out and said, yeah, we'll give you the answers to some of the questions you have been asking. And so I love it because it opens those types of doors for me, and I get more and more of an understanding of what is on the other side. But here's the thing, I'm fully aware that on the other side, we know these things and we don't need to know it on this side, but it just gives me a kick.
It's
So
intriguing.
So,
Absolutely.
Michael,
And
and
I love,
it is intriguing, but it makes a sense of a lot of things. I
mhm.
like that it makes sense of a lot of things. What I've noticed is who you are on the other side completely reflects the gifts and abilities that you have on this side. There's no distinction. Like, I see some people where they have an awareness of who they are, maybe on the other side, they know they're say high level, but they're convinced that on the earth plane, they're not. And you can't not be. If you're high level on the other side, you're high level here. You just are all the way down the chain.
right.
And so again, it's intriguing. But all that just makes it interesting for what are my gifts? Why am I here? But most of us are here to to grow and to learn and to heal some aspect of us that desperately needs healing.
Right. I just have one more question, Michael. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So there, I've heard this all the time, and I've seen it with some of the people I work with, where if a loved one passes on, they come and have a really detailed, memorable conversation with the person who's having the dream.
Yeah.
And I've always heard that that's a real interaction. That's not actually a dream. I mean,
Yeah.
can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So they tend to happen immediately after someone passes, and then there's a gap of about 9 months before they'll come back again.
Right.
And they will only do that if you don't miss them so much that you want to be with them. So you have to be very careful of that. Like, don't miss your partner so much that you want to be with your partner, because then they know if they come and have that close, intimate interaction with you in a dream, that you'll probably trigger some illness that's going to grant your wish
Not
to be with
healthy,
them.
right?
Right.
Yeah, not at all.
Wow.
So, but yeah, they're absolutely, they're real interactions. And the way to usually tell them is they will tell you something new, that they didn't know, like hadn't happened, or they were unaware of before they passed.
Right.
But it's the detail, it's the dialogue that happens in those dreams is significant.
Yeah.
Now, what helps is, because you're flying dreams, you have the ability to remember those dialogues. But basically, those dreams don't take place within the dream, or those interactions. They take place on the astral plane.
Right.
Like, that's the midway point between both worlds, and we can go there and they can go there.
Right.
And you have the interaction for real with them.
Yes.
And then you work it into a dream later on.
Got it. Yeah. That's very much what I thought. Thank you for confirming so much.
And Michael, could you go through some of your techniques for how people can remember their dreams? Because a lot of people feel like, oh gosh, I wish I could tap into all these amazing things you're describing, but I need some techniques and some help in remembering. Could you walk us through some of those?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of people say that, but then they still have a dream. It's like, I've never met somebody who hasn't had a dream for me to interpret. But most of us burn the candle at both ends. If you're one of those people, like, where you're getting up out of bed fast, and you're going to bed late, you're just not giving yourself enough time to sleep. Your sleep is too deep to remember your dreams. So what you can do is set an alarm clock, an extra alarm clock, to go off an hour before you need to get up. And then your remaining hour of sleep is going to be much lighter, and you will very likely remember your dreams in that lighter sleep, because you haven't gone as far down. Your consciousness isn't as lost.
Right.
But you need to stay in bed when you wake up then, and try remember the dream in that state. Don't open your eyes, don't move, and then pull it from your mind in that state. Then you can get up. But if you just hop up and straight into the shower, that's not going to be easy. A lot of people will remember their dreams on vacation because of that slow rising out of the bed. They're not in any hurry. But that one works well, setting the alarm. There's other ones where you can write on a piece of paper saying, I'm going to have a dream about whatever. You can even like seed the dream and say, I want a solution to this health issue, or to this problem I'm having in my work environment, whatever it happens to be. And you write it on a piece of paper. And then if you can meditate about it, and put that piece of paper under the pillow. So like, just meditate and say, I'm going to remember a dream about this. I'm going to have a dream about this that gives me the solution, and I'm going to remember the dream, and I'm going to know what it means when I wake up. And do that a few nights, and it should work too. Telling ourselves that something's going to happen is amazingly effective. Another one you can do is use a glass of water. So take a glass of water to bed, put your hands on either side of the glass, don't touch the glass, and just imagine energy flowing from one hand to the other. It's like it's charging the water. And then again, in a kind of meditative state, say, I'm going to have a dream about whatever, and I'm going to remember it in the morning. And then drink half the water, cover it, and when you go to bed and wake up in the morning, drink the other half. And you're using a few different things with that. First, you're charging the water to have a purpose, and water likes that. And then you're consuming it. So, but you're also, our brain works by association mostly. So you have associated drinking this water with remembering a dream. So when you finish drinking the water in the morning, it's going to help you. But one of those three is bound to work. I've come across one person who couldn't remember dreams, and it turned out she got hypnotized to not remember them because she couldn't sleep. She had so many dreams. So sometimes there can be some other block like that, but that's extremely rare.
Wow. Those are very helpful. Thank you.
Those are so helpful. And also the mere act of writing them down,
Yes.
starting to keep your own little dream diary, even if it's just a couple of words, even if you can't
Yeah.
make sense of them, because your guides, your higher self, God, whoever, as you said, that those that are helping us with our dreams, they're going to see the effort and that we're just open to learning and growing that way. And now that channel of information is open.
Excellent.
Yeah, I love the water because it's kind of like, the Greeks talked about crossing the river of forgetfulness. It's like you're
Yeah. It's
kind of,
just a different state of consciousness, and you want to slowly move from one to the other and bring the dream back with you.
Nice.
right.
Michael, we're getting near to the end of the hour, and we really are thankful for you joining our podcast today. Very informative, very, very cool stuff.
Yes,
All right.
thank you so much for being here. And I also want to recommend Michael's other book, My Journey to Awakening. It's a really interesting, fun, light read that people, I think you'll enjoy the sense of humor and just we need that as we're waking up
Yeah,
spiritually.
you can tell I had fun writing that book.
Exactly. And again, your website, Michael?
It's dream-analysis.com. And on, can I say this, on the 27th to 29th, we're going to have a 3-day dream interpretation summit, just me interpreting dreams on the stage, live,
Oh,
neck on the block, um, and lots of material about what dreams mean, why they mean what they mean, who sends them, all that type of
Fantastic.
stuff.
And is that going to be a live event or is that going to
Yeah,
be via Zoom?
it's all over Zoom, 3 days. We've done it for several years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is like be our ninth or 10th time to run it, but different time this year. And I haven't announced it anywhere. So you're the first.
oh, thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Great. And I'm
that'll
sure
that, that'll
that'll
be
be
on your website.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
perfect. And I was there with Michael when he was first reintroducing that, and we did it live together at a hotel. And
Oh, yeah.
guess whose dream he chose to interpret and called me up there and called me out. Why are you not channeling? So it's just really marvelous information, and I think you'll enjoy that summit and other information from Michael. And again, the phone app, how do people get to that information? Is there
So,
a charge for that?
yeah, so Aisling Dreams, AISLANG Dreams. If you look that up on iPhone or Android,
Okay.
you'll get it. And we've updated it lots. There's a new update going into it now as well, so you can
Okay.
share your dreams. But
Okay.
Greg and Wendy, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for being
Michael.
here. It was a pleasure. See you next time.
Bye.
And Greg will bring our PowerPoint up again and start
Yes.
to walk you through the rest of our announcements.
Yes, here we go. All right.
All right. And I'd like to let everyone know that on Saturday, April 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, I have the good fortune of being the Spiritual Awakenings International speaker. And it's going to be an hour and a half program. And we're going to talk about releasing the ghosts of your past to heal your energy, which ties in with my second book, The Flow Plymouth Plantation, which is about a super stubborn ghost that I dealt with in this lifetime for 20 plus years, was how long it took me to figure out what was going on with that situation. Because some spiritual experiences that we go through, they're not all quick, easy fixes. They're not meant to be. And that book, The Flow Plymouth Plantation, I'm going to do a special promotion for it to correlate with that talk, and it'll be just 99 cents on Kindle that weekend. So I included the link, which is simply the Amazon Kindle link to it, and that special price will only work April 18th and 19th. So just letting you know ahead. And the question was, why would a ghost choose to remain earthbound for hundreds of years? And Anne Warren Little, the main character, vividly depicts her childhood in England, her perilous journey to colonial America aboard a Mayflower ship, her 5 decades living and loving at Plymouth Plantation, and her shocking death during King Philip's War. and then learn why that heartbroken ghost continually refused to go home. So that's what I will be talking about in that program with Spiritual Awakenings International. So thank you to them for having me as their guest. And I appreciated this review that encapsulated the book so well. In Plymouth Plantation, Wendy breaks open the world of past lives and reincarnation through her own personal awakening, because that's what we're here to talk about, is waking up spiritually. There are bite-sized nuggets of wisdom that nudge us toward expansion. And a lot of what Michael Sheridan spoke about today was expansion, having a more open mind, a more indulgent spirit, all in service to elevating the soul. Again, wasn't that a lot of Michael's message? Michael, by the way, is one of my brothers from an important past life of mine. So when he and I met again, much like you and I meeting Gregg, it was like, oh, I know this person.
Yep. Oh, very
can't
cool.
can't wait to have fun again. When we recognize each other and get to do it again.
Awesome.
So that's the news from me.
Okay. Just want to remind everybody I have 2 books out. The first one was The Gratitude Curve, which I published in 2018, and it describes the healing journey I went through with Lyme disease and the spiritual breakthrough that happened at the end of it. And basically, it is very much like what we were talking about earlier with Michael, where disease was thrown in my path because I was kind of veering off of my life's purpose, and then shortly after, the spiritual awakening happened, which surprised me because I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for just physical healing. And once I finally accepted the fact that the spiritual path was for me, or I could fight it or I could experience it, I dove into it. I became grateful, and that's where the title comes from, The Gratitude Curve. Second book, Your Love Will Make the Difference, I just published at the end of last year, and it is the sequel, the unexpected sequel to The Gratitude Curve. I had no plans to write a sequel, but so many wild and interesting things happened, and information happened. So channeling, started happening for me during that period of time, and still, today, but and so there was a lot of great information that came through the online group healing circles. So all the history of that, the details of that, if you're interested in that. And then there was some channeled information where I was directed to go 3 different places in the world to do earth clearing. So it becomes almost like a Da Vinci Code kind of thing, where all this needed to be accomplished before the end of 2019, I believe. And the week I came back from the Bermuda Triangle, COVID lockdown happened. So then it all became clear why all of this work needed to happen prior to all that. So if that kind of thing interests you, Da Vinci Code type stuff on top of everything else, then check out Your Love Will Make the Difference. Anyway, they're both on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. They're also on my website at greggkirk.com. So
wonderful. And I highly recommend both. You will just be uplifted and amazed and surprised by the information that Gregg shares. So please join us March 9th for the next episode of the Waking Up Spiritually podcast. And our website is wakingupspiritually.com. And you can click on the broadcast tab, and you can search, as I mentioned, for different topics, areas where you need help or are interested. So check that out. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and Waking Up Spiritually. And we so appreciate you rating and reviewing us on Apple iTunes or wherever you choose to listen to your podcast information. Please visit Gregg at his website to see his latest and greatest, which is Gregg, Gregg, Kirk, KIRK.com, and visit me and sign up for a session, sign up for an event with me at wendyrosewilliams.com. So thank you all. We so appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
bye-bye.